How do we subtract whole numbers? Let's look at the example. Suppose we have $2,053 and we spent $136. So we subtract 136 from 2053. When we do subtraction, we line up the last digits, and if I separate them into different units, so we have $3. So the last digit represents how many ones we have, and second to the last, how many tens, and how many hundreds, and how many thousands. As you can see here, we got 3 ones, so $3, and we spent $6. Well, that's not enough, so because we cannot take 6 away from 3. But what we can do is we can borrow $10 because we have $53. So we have, just think of this 5 as 5 $10 bills. So let's borrow one $10 bill from 5, which will reduce five $10 bills to 4 $10 bills. So 4 tens. And because we borrowed $10 from $50, so we took $10 from 50 $10 bills and we got 10, and plus what we already have, $3. So $10 plus $3 altogether, we have $13. Okay, again, so what we're doing here is, because when we try to deduct $6 from $3, that's not enough. But we have 5 $10 bills. So if you say, let's see, if we draw a picture, and so that we got one $10 bill, we got another $10 bill, and all together we have 5 of them, because that 5 means 5 tens. And we're going to take one of them, borrow one $10 bill, and give it to this $3. Altogether, that's why I get $13. But 5 $10, only you're gonna have four $10 left, which will be 4 in the tens place. Okay, so now let's do subtraction. 13 minus 6, that will give us a 7. And now we're going to do 4 minus 3. That 4 minus 3, that's 1. It's not actually doing $4 minus $3 because this is tens place. It's like doing $40 minus $30, which will give us $10 because we put a 1 in the same place. So this 1 also represents tens. So 4 tens minus 3 tens, we get 1 10. Now let's do the next place. So 0 minus 1. Okay, we cannot subtract 1 from 0. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the borrow again, and we borrow. This is like we have, just imagine we have two $1,000 bills. So you have $1,000 bill and another $1,000 bill, because this 2 here means thousands, 2,000s. And this 0, we don't have any $100 bills. If you want to subtract 1, you cannot do that. But if we borrow, but we have 2 $1,000 bills. So let's borrow from this 2, and we take one of the $1,000 bills. That will reduce it to a 1. So you only have $1,000 bill left. But this is also going to increase this 0 to a 10, because 10 hundreds is exactly 1,000. So this $1,000 bill, when we move it to the right side, it's going to become 10 hundreds. And as we know, 10 times 100, that's exactly 1000. Okay, so it's very similar. When you do the problem, you might not need to know which place is tens, ones, or hundreds, thousands, because it's as long as you bother one from the left side, it's going to reduce the left side one by 1 and increase the right side of 1 by 10. So this is what we need to remember. So this 0 will be increased to 10, and 10 minus 1, that's 9. And 1 minus nothing, that's 1. So this is how we do subtraction. So we're going to look at another example here. So suppose we have $2,003 minus $136. Again, we line up the last two digits and we do subtraction. 3 minus 6, that's not enough, so let's borrow from this tens place. Let me draw a line to separate them. Okay, so but what we found out, there's nothing to borrow because in the left side place of 3, that's already 0. There's nothing to borrow. So so 3 is asking for a 10, but 0 does not have anything. So 0 goes ahead and asks for another 10 from the left side. And this is, again, 0. So there's nothing to borrow. And the hundreds place will turn to the thousands place and try to borrow a 10. And notice we have something here. So we can reduce this 2 by 1, which will be 1, and that will increase the right side place to a 10. But remember that because the right side, the tens place, is asking for a 10 to borrow, so we're gonna reduce this number 10 to 9, and so the left side of 1 is always reduced by 1. And the right side of 1 will be increased by 10. And then now, in the tens place, we have $10, and we can give one $10 bill to the ones place. Now we will reduce 10 by 1, which will be 9 again. And we will increase the right side 3 to 13. Now we have enough. 13 minus 6, that will give us a 7. And 9 minus 3, that will give us a 6. 9 minus 1, 8. 1 minus nothing, that will be 8. 1. Okay, so if you don't want to bother to remember all the ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, the tip is when you try to borrow from the left side, because the left side units are always bigger, because 10 is 100. $10 bills is 100 bigger than $1 bills, and $100 bills is bigger than the tens, and similarly thousands are bigger than hundreds and tens and ones. So when you turn to the left digit, it's always 10 times bigger than the right side digit. So whenever you borrow, you're going to increase the right side digit. So the tip is, when we do the borrowing, we increase the right side digit by 10 and reduce the left digit by 1. So if you see here, when this 3 borrow from 0, there's nothing to borrow. Then we go to the next left digit, nothing to borrow, and finally we go to 2. And when you borrow from 2, it's going to reduce 2 to 1. So reduce it by, oh sorry, I should by 1, not by 10. Okay, so you're going to reduce this 2 by 1, which 2 minus 1, you get 1. And we also increase the right side digit by 10, so 0 will be increased to 10. But because the right side of this place also needs to borrow from the left side. So if we borrow, when you do the borrowing again, the left side digit, so now we are looking at these two, the left will be decreased by 1, so it goes from 10 to 9. The right will be increased by 10, so it goes from 0 to 10. And then again, because 3 is trying to borrow from this place, and so now we're looking at these two right here. Now the left is going to be reduced by 1, so it goes from 10 to 9, and the right side is going to be increased by 10, it goes from 3 to 13. And then you can do the rest of the subtraction. So if you are familiar with this borrowing process, when you have a 0, you have to keep borrowing until you see a non-zero number, and that number will be reduced by 1. And these two zeros, you can see they will both turn into 9s, and the last digit will be increased by 10.